morning more than 20 years ago. Consider the kitchen of a spreading old house in a country town. A great black stove is its main feature. There is also a big round table and a fireplace with 2 rocking chairs placed in front of it. Just today, the fireplace commenced its seasonal roar. A woman with shorn white hair is standing at the kitchen window. She is wearing tennis shoes and a shapeless gray sweater and a summery calico dress. But due to a long youthful illness, her shoulders are painfully hunched.
Oh my!
She exclaims, her breath smoking the window panes.
It's fruitcake weather.
The person to whom she is speaking is myself. I am 7. She is 60-something. We are cousins, very distant ones, but we have lived together, well, as long as I can remember. We are both each other's best friend. She calls me Buddy, in memory of a boy who was formerly her best friend. The other Buddy died in the 1880s, when she was still a child. She is still a child.
I knew before I got out of bed.
She says, turning away from the windows with a purposeful excitement in her eyes.
The courthouse bell sounded so cold and clear.
It's always the same. The morning arrives in November, and my friend, as though officially inaugurating the Christmas time of year that exhilarates her imagination and fuels the blaze of her heart, announces,
It's fruitcake weather! Fetch our Buddy and help me find my hat. The hat is found. A straw cartwheel corsaged with velvet roses. It once belonged to a more fashionable relative. Together we bide our buggy, a dilapidated baby carriage, out to the garden and into a grove of pecan trees.
The buggy is mine. It was bought for me when I was born. It's made of wicker, rather unraveled, and the wheels wobble like a drunkard's legs.
Queenie, our tough little orange and white rat terrier who survived distemper and 2 rattlesnake bites, is trotting beside it now. 3 hours later, we're back in the kitchen, hulling a heaping, bugging load of windfall pecans. Our backs hurt from gathering them. Oh, how hard they were to find. The main crop having been shaken off the trees and sold by the orchard's owners, who are not us. Crackle, a cheery crunch. Scraps of miniature thunder sound as the shells collapse and the golden mound of sweet, oily ivory meat mounts in the milk glass bowl.
Queenie begs to taste, and now and then my friend sneaks her a mite, though she insists we deprive ourselves.
Oh, we mustn't, Buddy. If we start, we won't stop, and there's scarcely enough as there is for 30 cakes.
The kitchen is growing dark. Dusk turns the windows into a mirror. Our reflections mingle with the rising moon as we work by the fireside in the firelight. At last, when the moon is quite high, we toss the final hull into the fire and with joined sighs watch it catch flame. The buggy is empty. The bowl is brim full. We eat our supper.
Cold biscuits, bacon, and blackberry jam.
And discuss tomorrow. Tomorrow, the kind of work I like best begins. Buying. Cherries and citron, ginger and vanilla.
And canned Hawaiian pineapple. Rinds and raisins and walnuts and whiskey. And oh, so much flour and butter, so many eggs, spices, flavorings. Well, we'll need a pony to pull the buggy home. But before these purchases can be made, there is the question of money. Neither of us has any. Only what we earn ourselves from various activities, holding rummage sales, selling buckets of hand-picked blackberries, jars made of homemade jam and apple jelly, and peach preserves, and rounding up flowers for funerals and weddings. Once, we won 79th prize, $5 in a national football contest. Oh, not that we know a full thing about football. We just enter any contest we hear about. But one way or another, we do, each year, accumulate Christmas savings, a fruitcake fund.
These monies we keep hidden in an ancient bead purse under a loose board under the floor, under a chamber pot, under my friend's bed. The purse is seldom removed from its safe location, except to make a deposit. Or, as happens every Saturday, a withdrawal. On Saturdays, I'm allowed 10 cents to go to a picture show. My friend has never been to a picture show, nor does she intend to.
Oh, I'd rather hear you tell the story, buddy. That way I can imagine it more. Besides, a person my age shouldn't squander their eyes. When the Lord comes, let me see him clear.
In addition to never having seen a movie, she has never eaten in a restaurant, traveled more than 5 miles from home, received or sent a telegram, read anything except the funny papers and the Bible, worn cosmetics, cursed, wished someone harm, lied on purpose, or let a hungry dog go hungry.
Now here are a few things she has done. Killed with a hoe the biggest rattlesnake ever seen in this country, 16 rattles. Dip snuff, secretly. Tame hummingbirds, just try it, so that they balance on my finger. Tell ghost stories, we both believe in ghosts, so tingling that they chill you in July. Talk to myself. Take walks in the rain. Grow the prettiest japonicas in town. Know the recipe for every sort of old-time Indian cure, including a magical wart remover.
Now, with supper finished, we retire to a room in a faraway part of the house, where my friend sleeps in a scrap quilt-covered iron bed painted rose pink, her favorite color.
Silently wallowing in the pleasures of conspiracy, we take the bead purse from its secret place and spill its contents on the scrap quilt. Dollar bills, tightly rolled and green as May buds. Somber 50-cent pieces, heavy enough to weight a dead man's eyes. Lovely dimes, the loveliest coins, the ones that really jingle. Nickels and quarters, smooth as creek pebbles, but mostly a hateful heap of bitter-odored pennies. Neither one of us has a head for figures. We count slowly, lose track, and start again.
According to her calculations, we have $12.73. According to mine, exactly $13.
Oh, I do hope you're wrong, buddy. We can't mess around with 13. The cakes will fall. So to be on the safe side, we subtract a penny and toss it out the window.
Of all the ingredients that go into our fruitcakes, whiskey is the most expensive, as well as the hardest to obtain. State laws forbid its sale, but everyone knows you can buy a bottle from Mr. Ha Ha Jones. And the next day we set off for Mr. Ha Ha's business address, a sinful, to quote public opinion, fish fry and dancing cafe down by the river. We've been there before and on the same errand, but in previous years our dealings have been with Ha Ha's wife. Actually, we'd never laid eyes on her husband, a giant with razor scars across his cheeks. They call him Ha Ha because he is so gloomy, a man who never laughs. As we approach his cafe, standing by the river and the muddy edges, under the shade of river trees whose moss drifts through the branches like gray mist, our steps slow down. Even Queenie stops prancing and sticks close by. People have been murdered at Ha Ha's cafe, cut to pieces, hit on the head. Well, naturally, these goings-on happen at night when the colored lights cast crazy patterns and the Victrola wails. In the daytime, Ha Ha's is shabby and deserted. I knock on the door. Queenie barks. My friend calls...
Mrs. Ha Ha, ma'am, anyone to home? Footsteps. The door opens. Our hearts overturn. It's Mr. Ha Ha Jones himself. And he is a giant. He does have scars. And he doesn't smile. No, he glowers at us through Satan-tilted eyes and demands to know...
What you want with Ha Ha? For a moment, we're too paralyzed to tell. Presently, my friend finds her voice, a whispery voice at best.
If you please, Mr. Ha, we would like a quart of your finest whiskey. His eyes tilt more. Would you believe it? Ha Ha-Ha is smiling and laughing too.
Which one of you is the drinking man?
Oh, it's for fruitcakes, Mr. Ha-Ha. Cooking. Well, this sobers him. He frowns.
That's no way to waste good whiskey.
Nevertheless, into the Shadow Cafe, and seconds later appears, carrying a bottle of daisy-yellowed, unlabeled liquor. He demonstrates its sparkle in the sunlight and says,
$2.
We pay him with nickels and dimes and pennies. Suddenly, jangling the coins in his hand like a fistful of dice, his face softens.
Tell you what.
He proposes, pouring the money back into our bead purse.
Just send me one of them fruitcakes instead.
Well,
My friend remarks on the way home.
there's a lovely man. We'll put an extra cup of raisins in his cake.
The
black stove, stoked with coal and firewood, glows like a lighted pumpkin.
egg beaters whir. Spoons spin round in bowls of butter and sugar. Vanilla sweetens the air. Ginger spices it.
Melting, nose-tingling odors saturate the kitchen, suffuse the house, drift out into the world on puffs of chimney smoke. In 4 days, our work is done. 31 cakes. Dampened with whiskey, bask on the windowsills and shelves.
Who are they for? Friends. Well, not necessarily neighbor friends. Indeed, the largest share are intended for persons who we've met maybe once, perhaps not at all. People who struck our fancy.
Like President Roosevelt. And like the Reverend and Mrs. J.C. Lucy, the Baptist missionaries to Borneo who lectured here last winter.
Or the little knife grinder who comes through town twice a year. Or Albert Packer, the driver of the 6 o'clock bus from Mobile, who exchanges waves with us every day as he passes in a dust cloud whoosh.
Or the young Wistons, a California couple whose car one afternoon broke down outside the house and who spent a pleasant hour chatting with us on the porch. Young Mr. Whiston snapped our picture, the only one we've ever had taken.
Is it because my friend is shy with everyone except strangers, that these strangers and merest acquaintances seem to be our truest friends? I think yes. I think also the scrapbooks we keep of thank yous, time-to-time commemorations, communications from California, Borneo, the knife grinder's penny postcards, make us feel connected to the eventful world beyond our kitchen.
Now a new December fig branch grates against the window. The kitchen is empty. The cakes are gone. Yesterday we carted the last of them to the post office, where the cost of stamps turned our purse inside out. We're broke.
That rather depresses me, but my friend hops up out of her chair with a gleam in her eye and exclaims,
I know where we'll find real pretty trees, buddy. And holly, too, with berries as big as your eyes. It's way off in the woods, further than we've ever been. Papa used to bring his Christmas trees from there and carry them on his shoulder. I can't wait till morning.
Morning. Frozen rye lusters the grass. The sun around as an orange and orange as a hot weather moon. Balances on the horizon. Burnishes the silvered winter woods. A wild turkey calls. A renegade hog grunts in the undergrowth. Soon, by the edge of the knee-deep, rapid-running water, we have to abandon the buggy.
Queenie wades the stream first, paddles across, barking complaints at the swiftness of the current and the pneumonia-making cold of it. We follow, holding our shoes and equipment, a hatchet and a burlap sack, above our heads. A mile more of chastising thorns and burrs and briars that catch our clothes, of rusty pine needles brilliant with fungus and molten feathers. Here, there, a flash, a flutter, an ecstasy of shrilling reminds us that not all birds have flown south. Another creek to cross, a disturbed armada of speckled trout frost the water around us, and frogs the size of plates practice belly flops.
On the farther shore, Queenie shakes herself and trembles. My friend shivers too, but not with cold, but enthusiasm.
We're almost there. Can you smell it, buddy?
She says, as though we were approaching an ocean. And indeed, it is a kind of ocean. Scented acres of holiday trees, prickly-leaved holly, red berries shiny as Chinese bells. Black crows swoop upon them, screaming. Having stuffed our burlap sacks with enough greenery and crimson to garland a dozen windows, we set about choosing a tree.
It should be twice as tall as a boy, so the boy can't steal the star.
The one we pick is twice as tall as me, a brave, handsome brute that survives 30 hatchet strokes before it keels with a creaking, rending cry. Lugging it like a kill, we commence the long trek home. Every few yards we abandon the struggle, sit down and pant. But we have the strength of triumphant huntsmen. That and the tree's virile, icy perfume revives us, goads us on. Many compliments accompany our sunset, a return down the red clay road to town. But my friend is sly and non-committal. When passers-by praise the treasure perched on our buggy, what a fine tree! And where did that come from?
Yonder ways.
She murmured vaguely. Once a car stops, and the rich mill owner's lazy wife leans out and whines.
I give you 2 bits cash for that old tree.
Ordinarily, my friend is afraid of saying no, but on this occasion, she promptly shakes her head.
We wouldn't take $1.
The mill owner's wife persists.
$1? My foot. 50 cents, that is my last offer. Goodness, woman, you can get another one.
In answer, my friend gently reflects.
I doubt it. There's never 2 of anything.
Home. Queenie slumps by the fire and sleeps till tomorrow, snoring loud as a human.
A trunk in the attic contains a shoebox of ermine tales of the opera cape of a curious lady who once rented a room in the house. Coils of frazzled tinsel gone gold with age. 1 silver star, and a brief rope of dilapidated, undoubtedly dangerous candy-like light bulbs.
Excellent decorations, as far as they go, which isn't far enough. My friend wants our tree to blaze
like a Baptist window
and droop with weighty snows of ornaments, but we can't afford the made-in-Japan splendors at the 5 and dime, so we do what we've always done. Sit for days in the kitchen, at the table with scissors and crayons and stacks of colored paper. I make sketches and my friend cuts them out. Lots of cats. Fish, because they're easy to draw.
some apples, some watermelons, a few winged angels devised from saved-up sheets of Hershey bar tin foil. We use safety pins to attach these creations to the tree. And as a final touch, we sprinkle the branches with shredded cotton, picked in August for just this purpose.
My friend, surveying the effort, clasps her hands together.
Now, honest, buddy, doesn't it look good enough to eat?
Queenie tries to eat an angel. When it comes time for making each other's gifts, my friend and I separate to work secretly. I would like to buy her a pearl-handled knife, a radio, a whole pound of chocolate-covered cherries. We tasted some once, and she always swears.
I could live on them, buddy. Lord, yes, I could. And that's not taking his name in vain.
Instead, I'm building her a kite. She would like to give me a bicycle. She said so on several million occasions.
Only I could, buddy. It's bad enough in life to do without something you want. But confounded, what gets my goat is not being able to give somebody something you want them to have.
Instead, I'm fairly certain she's building me a kite. Same as last year and the year before. The year before that, we exchanged slingshots. All of which is fine by me. We are champion kite flyers who study the wind like sailors. My friend, more accomplished than I, can keep a kite aloft when there isn't enough breeze to carry clouds.
Christmas Eve afternoon, we scrape together a nickel and we go to the butcher's to buy Queenie's traditional gift, a good, novel beef bone. The bone, wrapped in funny papers, is placed high on the tree near the silver star. Queenie knows it's there. She squats at the foot of the tree, staring up in a trance of greed. When bedtime arrives, she refuses to budge.
Her excitement is equaled by my own. I kick the covers and turn my pillow as though it was a scorching summer's night.
Buddy, are you awake?
It's my friend calling from her room, which is next to mine. And an instant later, she's sitting on my bed holding a candle.
Well, I can't sleep a hoot. My mind is jumping like a jackrabbit. Buddy, do you think Mrs. Roosevelt will serve our fruitcake at dinner?
We huddle in the bed. She squeezes my hand.
Seems like your hand used to be so much smaller. I guess I hate to see you grow up. But when you grow up, will we still be friends?
I say, always.
But I feel so bad, buddy. I wanted so bad to give you a bike. I tried to sell my cameo that Papa gave me. Buddy.
She hesitates as though embarrassed.
I made you another kite.
And I confess, I made her one too. And we laugh. The candle burns too short to hold. And out it goes, exposing the starlight. The stars spinning at the windows like a visible caroling that slowly, daybreak silences. Possibly we doze. But at the beginnings of dawn splash us like cold water. We are up, wide awake.
Buddy, the wind is blowing.
The wind is blowing, and nothing will do till we've run to the pasture. There, plunging through the waist-high grass, we unreel our kites and feel them twitching at the string like sky fish as they swim into the wind.
My, how foolish I am.
My friend cries, suddenly alert, like a woman remembering too late she has biscuits in the oven.
I always thought a body would have to be sick and dying before they saw the Lord. I'll wager at the very end, a body realizes that the Lord has already shown himself, that things as they are.
Her hand circles in a gesture that gathers clouds and skies and kites and grass and Queenie pawing the earth over her bones.
Is just what you've always seen was seeing him. As for me, I could leave the world with today in my eyes.
This is our last Christmas together. Life separates us. Those who know best decide I belong in military school. And so follows a miserable succession of bugle-blowing prisons, grim, reveille-ridden summer camps. Oh, I have a new home too, but it doesn't count. Home is where my friend is. And there, I never go. And there she remains, puttering around the kitchen, alone with Queenie. Then, alone.
Buddy dear.
She writes in her hard-to-read script.
Yesterday, Jim Macy's horse kicked Queenie bad. Be thankful she didn't feel much. I wrapped her in a fine linen sheet, and I rode her in the buggy down to Simpson's, where she can be with all her bones.
For a few Novembers, she continues to bake her fruitcakes single-handed. Not as many, but some. And of course, she always sends me...
the best of the batch!
Also in every letter, she encloses a dime, wadded in toilet paper.
See a picture show and write me the story.
A morning arrives in November, a leafless, birdless, coming of winter morning, when she cannot rouse herself to exclaim,
Oh my, it's fruitcake weather!
And when that happens, I know it. A message saying so merely confirms a piece of news that a secret vein has already received, severing from me an irreplaceable part of myself, letting it loose like a kite on a broken string. That is why, on this particular December morning, I keep searching the sky as if I expected to see, rather like hearts, a lost pair of kites hurrying toward heaven.